He steps away for 2 minutes to retrieve his gun. Two gunshots ring out. When he returns, his wife is dead, and no one has ever known what really happened. To understand that strange night, we have to go back into the past of two people who had almost nothing in common, except perhaps one thing: a deep, persistent loneliness that pulled them toward each other like two broken trajectories. Robert Blake, born in 1933, never truly had a childhood. A child actor in the Our Gang shorts, he grew up in a world where studio lights replaced toys, where directors' orders replaced gentle words, where film sets became makeshift classrooms. Behind the forced smiles were a violent father, a manipulative mother, endless work days and sleepless nights. As a teenager, he collapsed, ran away, slept in cars, survived however he could. Then Hollywood called him back. In the 1970s, he became a star thanks to Baretta. But behind the success, he remained that damaged child, suspicious, guarded, haunted by a past he could never outrun. Bonnie Lee Backley, born in 1956, came from a different kind of chaos. An unstable childhood marked by constant moves, family tension, and dreams too big for the life she had. Early on, she learned that the world belonged to those who could manipulate it. She drifted into questionable activities, developed an almost obsessive fascination with celebrities, changed names, cities, husbands, wrote hundreds of letters to actors, musicians, producers. She didn't dream of Hollywood to perform. She wanted to belong to that world where names shine brighter than faces. When Robert met Bonnie in 1999, he was 66, she was 43. Their relationship began with distrust. Bonnie became pregnant. She insisted the child was Blake's. He doubted it. A DNA test confirmed the paternity. Robert agreed to marry her, but he didn't love her. He didn't trust her. He feared her. She, on the other hand, felt she had finally reached the life she wanted, yet she sensed the coldness, the distance, the constant tension. Their Studio City home was modest for a star, a small, plain house decorated without style, as if no one had ever wanted to leave a trace there. Robert lived simply, almost frugally. Bonnie wanted more space, more glamour, more life. Their daily routine was made of heavy silences, short conversations, suspicious glances. Robert spent hours alone in the yard, smoking, thinking. Bonnie spent time on the phone, writing, organizing. They lived together, but each in their own world. Their relationship felt like a play where two actors performed different scripts without ever looking at each other. Then came the night of May 4th, 2001. A warm, heavy evening, almost suffocating. The air seemed charged with an invisible tension. Robert suggested dinner. They went to Vitello's. Inside, the lighting was dim, conversation soft, silverware clinking gently. Robert spoke little. He ate slowly, as if lost in thought. Bonnie watched everything, alert, uneasy. Witnesses described a distant couple, almost silent, as if each waited for the other to say something that would never come. Around 9:30 p.m., they left the restaurant. The street was quiet, almost too quiet. Yellow streetlights cast dusty halos on the pavement. The night air carried the scent of jasmine mixed with exhaust fumes. A TV murmured behind a window. A lone car passed. Nothing else. They walked toward their black Dodge Stealth. Bonnie sat in the passenger seat, closed the door, adjusted her purse. Robert circled the car, then stopped. He said he had forgotten his gun inside the restaurant, a gun he carried regularly. He told her he was going back for it. His voice was neutral, almost too neutral. Bonnie didn't answer. She stayed in the car, motionless, lit by the pale street lamp. Robert walked away. His footsteps echoed faintly. He moved quickly, head down, hands in his pockets. Behind him, the car remained still, suspended in time. Tree shadows swayed gently in the breeze. A distant figure walked by without noticing anything. At 9:35 p.m., two gunshots shattered the silence. Sharp, fast. Two explosions that tore through the quiet street. The sound bounced off the buildings, then vanished. No screams, no running, no witnesses. Just that brutal noise, followed by an even heavier silence. For a moment, everything froze. Windows stayed shut. Dogs didn't bark. It was as if the entire street had been caught off guard, unable to process what had just happened. At 9:40 p.m., Robert returned. His pace was faster, almost urgent. When he reached the car, he opened the passenger door. Bonnie was there, motionless, her head tilted, a dark stain on her cheek. The contrast between the yellow streetlight and the blood created an image that felt unreal, like a frame from a noir film. Robert called for help. His voice echoed through the empty street. He knocked on neighbors' doors, searching for anyone. People emerged, confused, half asleep. Some approached, others stayed on their porches. Sirens grew louder in the distance. When the police arrived, the scene was bathed in blue and red lights that gave the walls a ghostly glow. Officers examined the car, took notes, asked questions. Inconsistencies appeared immediately. Why return for a forgotten gun? Why leave Bonnie alone in a dark street? Why did no one see a shooter? Why was no weapon found? Why did everything seem both simple and impossible? The tiny crime scene became a maze. Every detail mattered, yet none led anywhere. After being acquitted in the criminal trial, Robert Blake still faced a civil lawsuit filed by Bonnie's family. In civil court, the rules are different. The question isn't whether a crime was proven beyond a reasonable doubt, but whether someone bears responsibility. The civil jury decided he did. Blake was found liable for Bonnie's death and ordered to pay millions in damages. It wasn't a criminal conviction, but it devastated him. He lost most of his assets, became financially drained, and grew even more isolated. After that judgment, his life slipped into a quiet form of solitude. He focused on his daughter Rosie, trying to maintain a bond despite the scandal and financial strain. Their relationship became one of the few stable points he had left, a fragile space where he tried to preserve what remained of his life. And yet, despite those moments of tenderness, the case continued to hover over them like a silent shadow. A story where no one is entirely innocent, no one entirely guilty. A story that mirrors the city itself. Beautiful, dark, fascinating, and full of secrets.